This week, House Republicans are working to end Joe Biden's assault on American energy independence and restore our depleted strategic petroleum reserves. For far too long, Joe Biden has risked America's national security and drained our strategic petroleum reserves to cover up for his anti-American energy agenda. The SPR is for emergencies, not Joe Biden's political points. Our strategic petroleum reserves oil is only supposed to be used for national security events, but Joe Biden has sold nearly 40% of our stockpile since being elected. In fact, Joe Biden has sold off more of our oil reserves than every U.S. president in history combined. Today, our crucial emergency oil reserves are at the lowest level in my lifetime. As a result, China now has the world's largest government-controlled stockpile of oil, and Joe Biden and his administration have no plan to reverse course. Under an open rule, this week, House Republicans will continue to implement our commitment to America. This week, we will pass a bill to prevent abuse of the SPR and require Joe Biden to put forth a plan to increase domestic production. It is long past time to unleash American energy and restore our standing on the world stage. House Republicans will hold the Biden administration accountable for tying the hands of America's oil and gas producers in the midst of an energy crisis. We will deliver on our promise to defend our energy security, to support an economy that's strong. And with that, I want to yield to one of our members who is very active on energy issues, August Pfluger from Texas.
I thank the conference chair, gentlelady from New York, for her leadership. One of the first things that Speaker McCarthy said he was going to do in our commitment to America was to regain energy dominance. We're not in a transition, we're in an expansion. The demand for energy has never been higher. And from the first day in office, President Biden has sent a clear message to oil and gas workers across the country. He said your jobs don't matter. He said your mortgage payments don't matter, and your children's education and putting food on the table don't matter. In fact, remember when the president, as he was campaigning, said that he would end the fossil fuel industry. He's used his own political emergencies to drain the SPR to its lowest levels in 40 years. The SPR is intended for emergencies, national security emergencies, weather emergencies. It's intended to be a reserve to help the American people, the American economy in the case of emergencies. But we have watched him, the president, shackle U.S. producers with needless regulations while going abroad and begging other people, including our adversaries, for our own needs that we can do right here. This Republican majority knows, like I said, that we're not in a transition, we're in an expansion. And we're going to work to restore American energy security. We're going to allow our industry to provide affordable, reliable energy to every American, instead of what the president has done, which is weaponize the EPA, weaponize FERC, weaponize every regulatory agency and department in his administration against the energy industry. I'd like to ask, where are my Democrat colleagues? Where are my Democrat colleagues from Texas to stand up for affordable, reliable energy? Not only is this a national security imperative, but the energy industry allows our economy to continue to grow strong. That's the biggest tool we can use to regain our standing on the world stage. Where are my colleagues who want to ease the burden of inflation that the president has caused for the past 2 years? It's time to regain energy dominance, to meet the growing demands that our economy and our national security so desperately need. Every week we like to highlight a freshman member, and I'd like to introduce my colleague, my good friend, the gentlelady from Oregon, Ms. Lori Chavez-DeRimo.
It's a pleasure to be before you as one of the majority makers. And as a mom, and as a business owner, and as a mayor, these issues matter. They matter to Oregonians, and they matter to Americans. Due to the poor energy policies, we've gone from energy independent to energy dependent. And that's what we want to avoid. And in order to do that, we have to have a plan. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is intended for emergencies. Nearly 40% of the stockpile is now gone, the lowest level we've seen in 40 years. It was the largest drawdown in U.S. history. It's clear that Congress needs to act. The people who elected us expect us to have a plan. That's what mayors do. That's what congressional leaders do. Failing to do so leaves us vulnerable. natural disasters, and national emergencies in the future. We have to be prepared.